Hello internationals! Today I am going to be a tourist in my own city of Gothenburg, and I asked ChatGPT to create an itinerary for one person for one day on a budget, because I'm going to prove you today that Sweden doesn't need to be expensive and you can enjoy beautiful views, awesome attractions and great spots for free or for at least not so much money. So the instruction was: you're now famous tour guide specialized in Göteborg, Sweden, and I'm resident of the city who wants to get to know it better. Prepare one day solo itinerary on a budget to see the most of Göteborg but avoid obvious places. Focus on unexpected, new, fresh, maybe local experience. I told him as well to stay near the city center and avoid public transport because tickets are expensive and we want to avoid that, so wherever we can go on foot, we will go on foot. But I need to start with a tram because I don't live anywhere near the city center and I need to get there. So I'm now going to catch a tram and go to my first place. Okay, now this is exciting. Second part of my trip is taking a ferry, which is actually part of Västtrafik. Same tickets for trams and buses are valid also on those ferries. Right now, other ferries boarding. I'm waiting for my number 285. Now on, let's say the platform, there is 286. And I'm going to my first stop, which is Röda Sten Konsthall. ChatGPT told me to go there first. While I was checking the instructions on how to get there from my apartment, Google said that the place is closed. But because we are now checking the ability of creating itineraries by ChatGPT and how much we need to check after him, we go there and we will see where it gets us. We are now here and we're going by ferry over there, which is the end, and we need to go somewhere around here to get to Röda Sten Konsthall. And I'm still waiting for my ferry. I need to check timetable probably, but the weather is so nice. I mean, today I have indeed perfect weather because it's 20 degrees Celsius and there is sunny. It's perfect weather. It's not so much windy. Of course, we are at the water, so obviously it will be more windy than in the city center, but it's just perfect. And here it is. I'm boarding my ferry. I went downstairs already because I'm leaving and off-boarding the next stop. There were 4 stops on my way and travel takes around 22 minutes from Stenpiren to Klippan. There I have around 700 meters to Röda Sten Konsthall and we'll be done for our first stage of this trip. I am very curious about this and our next stop. I am still walking to my destination, but 2 things noticed. First of all, wind is much more intensive than in the city. We are now basically seeing the sea at the moment. The second thing, you can definitely smell the sea, not just see it. Before I go to Röda Sten Konsthall, I made a short break at Älvsborgsbron and I asked ChatGPT about some interesting facts about that. I was here a few times before, but I never really, got interested in the history and stuff like that. So that was opened in 1966 and that was a major feat of engineering. As you can see, that bridge is huge. It's a suspension bridge and has 933 meters. The deck of it, it's 45 meters above water, which is huge. And we have another bridge on the other end of Göteborg, which is almost that high as this one, or I think that they're pretty similar. Maybe that one is 49 meters above the water level. I'm not sure. But it is said that it's the westernmost large bridge linking the city center with Hisingen, which is true. And on the south bank, you'll find Röda Sten Konsthall under it, which is also true. You're here. And actually, if you think about bridges, you will think about Öresunds bridge in Malmö, that's connecting Copenhagen with Malmö in Sweden. And this bridge would be a symbol and a landmark of Gothenburg, if I'm here to choose. But I'm pretty sure that would be it. So as I said, we're now in Röda Sten area, which basically translates into English to the red rock, red stone. And there's an actual red stone in front of me, but it's protected by wild and pissed off swans that don't let me anywhere near that rock. So I recorded it from the distance. And I asked ChatGPT about some interesting facts about the area, and I'm going to share them right now. So the Konsthall itself is housed in former boiler house from 1940s, and it was part of huge industrial complex. The whole area here is actually very industrial. You will notice some, bricks, and there is more like grungy vibe in here because that's graffiti mecca as well. And the wall under the Älvsborgsbron is one of the only legal graffiti zones in Sweden, which is very interesting. I didn't know that. I saw the graffiti before, but I had no idea that's one of the only legal graffiti zones in Sweden. That's interesting. It has that underground rebellious energy and vibe. You will see in a second. And now we're going to the Konsthall to grab a coffee, I guess. I'm a bit late, so I took my ice latte to go, some caramel syrup. I don't feel it. I don't taste it at the moment. I didn't mix it, I admit. That's my mistake. And let's see where we're going next. So my next stop is Andra Långgatan, which is around 22 minutes by tram from here. So I need to go there. I have 4 minutes walk to the tram stop. And then ChatGPT promised us a vibrant street lined up with indie record stores, quirky shops, colorful street art, and affordable cafes and bars. So I guess there was a suggestion to take a coffee, but nothing happened. It took me 1.5 hours to get here. I was thirsty. I wanted to grab my coffee here. And enjoy the sun, enjoy the nature, enjoy the area. We are supposed to take budget-friendly lunch at Saluhallen, which honestly we're behind the schedule because I left at 11 and ChatGPT assumed I'm going to start sightseeing at 11. My mistake, but we will see. Maybe we will eat just some soup at Saluhallen. We will see. And stay with me to see what's ahead of us later on. So I'm now at Andra Långgatan, and that means basically second long street. There's also first and third one. I asked ChatGPT what's so special about this street, this place, this area. Basically, it used to be a rough working class area close to the harbour, full of warehouses. You can see that in the architecture, and in early 2000s it started to transform, and locals kept it real. It's a place for artists, musicians, small entrepreneurs. From what I read by ChatGPT, there are no chain stores like H&M and stuff like that allowed, only local and small bars, pubs, boutiques, stores. It is said to be the best, I don't know if the best, but the cheapest beer in town. They have, and that's confirmed, I saw that already. They have like crazy cheap happy hours for beer, even for 40-50 crowns. That's pretty cheap. Usually beer in the pub costs around between 80 to 100 kronor. Here it's 40 to 50 during happy hours. You just need to check when those happy hours are. And there's also a lot of places with live music, stand-ups and entertainment. And also I read here that every spring, every year, once a year at Andra Långdagen, there's Andra Långdagen festival when the street turns into giant block party, DJs, music, stuff like that. I'm on my way to find a place with the app called Lek to Go, where I can borrow power bank to charge my phone because it's almost dead and I'm not even in the half of my today's trip. And I got to Järntorget, which is at the end of Andra Långgatan, and now I'm heading towards Haga. Another thing I can say about Andra Långgatan is that there are many vintage shops, many secondhand stores, but like, you know, the vintage end. There are also many stores with vinyl music. So that's pretty cool. I need to take my husband here. And I'm currently at Haga neighborhood. Now I'm going to enter like the most famous street on Haga. But what I have to say is definitely that area is not non-touristy. That's like the first place you take people coming to Gothenburg to see. So as I said, this is probably the most touristy places. There are not a lot of tourists in Gothenburg at all currently, but this area was established in mid-17th century under Queen Christina, and that was the city's very first suburb. It was built just outside fortified city walls and originally populated by fishermen and farmers. More interesting facts from ChatGPT about Haga. It is packed with brick ground floors with wooden upper stories, built between 1870 and 1940 to meet fire regulations while keeping costs low. It's always about keeping costs low, I don't know. This is the place where you probably take your guests to have fika, because this is the street where famous Café Husaren is located, and they have those giant kanelbullar, cinnamon buns, but they're like giant, and their name is actually Hagabullar. I also checked my trip plan for today, and it turned out that I don't know why ChatGPT mixed two places. I mean, it told me to go first for lunch at Saluhallen and then come back to Haga and Skansen above Haga. I don't know why, because actually from Andra Långgatan, Haga is first on the way to Saluhallen. I don't know why, but there's also Haga kyrkan, which is the church, dates from 1859 and reflects Gothic revival architecture. And in general, Haga is about souvenirs, some vintage stores, very interesting stores like olive oil store, DIY soap, manufacture, stuff like that. So let's continue our trip. I'm not sure if I'm going straight to Saluhallen or I'm going to go up to the hill to Skansen Kronan. I need to charge my phone first, find a place to borrow that power bank, and then we will see how far behind the schedule I am and how much time do I still have. Okay, I decided we're going after all to Skansen Kronan. I know I told you I'm going to avoid touristy places, and that's one of the, let's say, biggest landmarks, but we're so close, it would be pity not to go, especially because ChatGPT, after all, told us to go there. Skansen Kronan is literally the crown fort. It's located on the hill right in front of me, so we need to climb it first. It was built between 1687 and 1700. It was featured with 23 cannons, walls 4 to 5 meters thick, but it was never used in battle. It served as prison, emergency housing, but now it's known the best for a beautiful panoramic view for the whole city of Gothenburg. I haven't gone around Skansen Kronan yet, but I see there's ongoing renovation. I saw also open windows and some voices inside, so I believe you can go there. I'm not going to do that. ChatGPT didn't tell me to. What I can tell, the views are indeed stunning, but it's not like 360 degrees around, because there are some ups and downs at the top of this hill, and there are also some trees growing, so not all the places are visibly equally well, but the views are there, okay? Now I think I'm going to go down, start walking towards Saluhallen for that lunch. I hope that I get there before closing time, because as I said, I'm a lot behind the schedule and I still haven't found a power bank to borrow. I mean, I passed by a few places where it's possible to borrow a power bank, but they were closed. They were supposed to be open. There are 2 pubs on Andra Långgatan, but both of them were closed and nothing else was on my way. So I'm just counting on something on my way to Saluhallen, and we will see. But now I'm a bit worried if I borrow the power bank, where I'm going to give it back. because I need to find the same place on the map on my way back home. That's a bit tricky, but we'll figure it out. More facts about Skansen Kronan. From 1904 to 2004, it was a military museum before becoming private events venue. So they're making weddings and conferences here. I'm not sure if at the moment, as I said, there's renovation going on. ChatGPT figured out we would have this dilemma. So the building itself is not open to public tours, but the grounds and views are freely accessible. That's true. You don't pay anything to get there, and best visited in late afternoon when the light softens, the views glow, and the crowd thins. There are no crowds. There are some people, obviously, but the area is so large you can't barely see them. There are some places on the grass to sit. There are some tables and benches. It's okay, but I don't know, ChatGPT. If you tell that the best views are late afternoon, why are you telling me? Because he originally told me to come here at 1:30, so right afternoon. Good job, ChatGPT. Okay, so that's actually interesting because I finally found a place, open place, that's marked in power bank app that I'm using to borrow power banks. And I'm asking, hey, where's the machine to borrow that power bank? The waitress there said they don't have it anymore. That was a long time ago. So I'm not sure, honestly, if I can still recommend this app. I mean, if you're lucky and you're near it, it's great because I believe the first 2 hours are for free, or maybe first time you borrow, then 2 hours are for free. I don't know. I've used it 2 or 3 times, but I use it very rarely, so I don't really remember. But the fact is, I'm still looking for power bank, and I have 19% of battery, and also my tram tickets are on my phone, so it's going to be interesting. I found it finally. We succeeded, but I have to say they're really slow. I remember they were slow, but I was counting on I can charge it a little bit. At the moment, I started at 19%, then I dropped to 18%, and I'm still at 19. So we will see. But if you're curious about how it looks like, that small power bank with 3 different types of cables, Lightning, USB-C, and micro USB, or mini USB. I have no idea how it's called, but as you can see, I'm charging. Oh, and about the payment, it's 29 kronor for 2 hours, but when you pay with card, they charge you 100, and I don't know if it goes to your like electronic wallet inside the app, or they're just blocking it in case you're going to have that power bank for a longer time. But we will see that. And the rule is you need to take it back in any of the places on the map, but as you saw, not all the places that are pinned in the map actually have those machines. That's a bummer, but we will try. And I'm just passing by Haga kyrkan I was telling you about, and Haga Konserthall, and heading towards Saluhallen. I swear Haga kyrkan is, plus Haga Street is basically, I mean Haga Nygata is basically our #1 place to go with all our guests. So we've been there like hundreds of times. I got now around 600 meters to Saluhallen, and I'm going through Kungsparken, which is really beautiful park just in the city center, very green. And that's actually a nice place because there is a little bit of shadow in that really heating sun today. That's just a perfect spot for a break, but we're going to have a break at Saluhallen. I am now under Stora Saluhallen, or just simply Saluhallen. It was designed by Hans Hedlund, according to ChatGPT, opened in 1889, and then in 1985 it earned a listed building status due to preserving architecture, high arched roof, cast iron columns and tilted hallways. It will not be my first time inside. It makes an impression always during the first visit because it is indeed beautiful beautiful from the inside, both from the inside and the outside, but it's usually quite crowded. I prefer like smaller bars, cafes, pubs. There are indeed plenty nice places to visit, go and try. It has roughly 40 stalls that offer local cheese, meat, fish, breads, exotic spices, bao buns, gelato, natural wine. That's all inside. Actually, there's Göteborg Gelateria inside. They have perfect ice cream. That's my to-go place. And ChatGPT calls it actually a culinary hub of Göteborg. And it says that 2 million people visit annually, drawn by fresh, high-quality produce and vibrant lunch scene. I can confirm that's true. Not very lucky today, unfortunately. The only soup that I can eat is goulash soppa, and that's definitely anything but summer dish. And I'm not that hungry at all, so I think that I'm going to skip the lunch for now. As you've seen, there are plenty of places where you can buy food to go or eat in place, buy cheese, buy ham, buy different sausages, whatever you want. And I guess it's time to check our next stop. So after Saluhallen and lunch at Saluhallen, ChatGPT wanted us to go to Haga, Nygata, basically to enjoy fika at Café Hebelelle or Café Husaren or in any other cafes there. I told you that's a great place for fika, but we're not going back there because our next stops are, on our way. So now it wants us to go at Lilla Bommen, which is called the Lipstick. It's by the water and we can, I don't know why, but sip there another takeaway coffee. I mean, ChatGPT really took the Swedish way seriously because it offers me coffee basically in every spot. I can't drink that much caffeine, okay, Chat? But that's actually our last spot on that trip. We're supposed to sip takeaway coffee, enjoy harbor views, city rooftops, photogenic and wholly local. I agree to some point. But anyway, for lunch, what I've tried and recommend are two places with like typical Swedish cuisine. One a bit more expensive, one a bit cheaper. The cheaper one is where I'm recording right now. It's called Kogebaren. It's closed right now. Saluhallen opens, I don't know when, but it closes at 7 p.m. at that time during summer. I'm pretty sure it's open shorter during winter and spring, but I'm not sure. So Kogebaren is closed. There is another place with Swedish cuisine behind me. It's a bit more expensive, but still great. There is a place where you can try wine and cheese pairings. That's also nice. And there's also one point of Jimmy and John's. That's a place where you can buy New York bagels, and that bagels are also great. And if you feel like eating ice cream, Göteborg Gelateria is the place to go. I'm almost there at Lilla Bommen, but I was just passing by Como restaurant, which I recommended you some time ago on my Instagram in Reel. Actually, I recommended Izakaya, their new project with sushi and Japanese cuisine, but I've heard everything great about Como, so I think I can recommend that one as well. And I'm almost there. I have like maybe 100 meters. From Saluhallen, I had 1 kilometer here on foot. We're avoiding public transport. Not because public transport is bad. Actually, I think public transport in Göteborg is pretty great. But, we're here on a budget. We're saving money. And I arrived, so we are actually now under the Göteborgsoperan building, and behind me, that tower here is called the Lipstick Tower, probably because of its shape. I've read some Google reviews about it. That's probably the ugliest building you can ever see anywhere. Placement of the elements is random, okay? That's not my opinion. That's what on Google reviews. That's legit. That's actually the first thing that ChatGPT told me about the area under key landmarks. It's called officially Lilla Bommen Tower, and it was designed in late 1980s. The lipstick name was actually how locals started calling the building. And on the top floor, there's observation deck, but Google says it's now closed, so we're not going there. And the opera building is right in front of me. It was opened in 1994, and fun fact, it's actually one of the reasons my theater kid soul wanted to live in Gothenburg, because even for short time periods, they're trying to produce famous musicals. Last year there was Wicked, and this year in autumn they're starting Miss Saigon, and I already have tickets, of course. When you now look a little bit behind me, there's the Viking bark, and that's a 1907 sailing vessel that never saw battle, but it's now here and you can admire it. In terms of other attractions in the area, ChatGPT told me to sit, relax, enjoy the view of the harbour, maybe take a ferry, which we already did in the beginning of the day. So that's actually the first stop of that ferry that we've taken from Stenpiren in the morning. ChatGPT also suggested to go kayaking here because there's a possibility to rent kayak, but I'm alone, so that's nothing for me for today. But we will definitely try it with Thomas once he comes back from Poland, where he currently is, and that's why I'm recording this video. It is 6:30, so it's not that late, but definitely we are behind the schedule because I planned to end this trip around 4 p.m. and I wanted to do cooking live on my Instagram at 7, but that's not happening, definitely. I am right now under the opera building with the harbor view, and the sun is about to set, and it is indeed one of the best times to be here and relax here. I'm going to stay here for a short while. Next to me there's Sommar Veranda, which is opera's restaurant or bar or pub or cafe. I don't know yet, but they have a menu next to me. Maybe I will step in to just grab something to drink and move forward towards home, or not. We will see. In terms of being on a budget, this trip definitely was. I mean, probably the most expensive thing was public transport. I think that I've already earned a 24-hour ticket, but I need to count my rides with trams. I'm not sure yet. We will see. But one single ticket for 90 minutes is 36 kronor, and one 24-hour ticket is 120 kronor. When you use your contactless, you're not paying right away, but you're collecting your trips and they're going to charge you at the end of the day, and that's going to be the best possible options during the day. So probably for me, a 24-hour ticket. Was ChatGPT accurate? I mean, it didn't necessarily choose like the least popular, most local experience places. Some of them, yes. For example, Röda Sten Konsthall was never like the first place to go with my guests. Other than that, they were pretty obvious places. On the other hand, I've been there many times, but I didn't have a chance and time to actually read more about them and know them better. So that's actually a huge advantage of that trip. And planning this trip was a lot of fun, actually. I have some ideas for the future, some themes trips, itineraries that ChatGPT can plan for me. So let me know if you want to see more of those videos in the future. But I think that I'm going to make them anyway because that's so much fun. And right now I think I'm just going to stay here, enjoy the weather, and then come back home. Can you see Karlatornet behind me? There it is. That's no, here, come. That's Karlatornet, which is currently the highest building, highest skyscraper in Nordics. And it's higher than Turning Torso in Malmö. Here's short power bank update. I'm currently on 55%, not too fast, but decent, let's say. But now I'm going to fight for the place where I can actually return it, because the nearest one to the opera is already closed. I need to go on foot to Central Station. I think that I would catch my tram from there anyway, so nothing really happened. And there are 3 places, according to the app, where I can return it at the Central Station. So that's good news, because at least one of those 3 will have the machine, and I will show you the process. So this story completes and there are no loose ends in that story. One thing you need to know about Göteborg at the moment is that it is indeed a real and huge construction place where a lot happens, and actually you may have some troubles walking because many of the sidewalks are simply closed. So let's check our pathway. Let's check our way to Central Station. I think I will go to Central Station through Röda Sten. That's the shopping center in Göteborg, in the city center, and that would be actually the fastest way because I can enter on one side and leave it on the other side, and that would be actually in front of the Central Station. So that would be the most convenient. That's the plan. Another success today. I managed to return my power bank at 7-Eleven at Central Station, and before I got there I got to 64%. That's pretty decent result. I paid 29 kronor. I haven't got a refund for like the difference between 100 kronor and 29 kronor that I actually paid for that, but I think it's Friday. I mean, I think it's going to arrive eventually, at least. I'm already in the tram on my way home. That was an exhausting trip, I have to say, because I decided not to take public transport at all, if possible. I had to sometimes. But because I decided to do it rarely, I have a lot of steps on my Apple Watch and the rings are closed officially. So the goal achieved, I can say. I have few stops left, so that's the time to say goodbye to you. Thank you for staying with me, thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe the channel and click the bell so you don't miss any new videos I upload. See you in the next one.